Hey, we're at Phong Nha farm stay. We've just had an amazing breakfast. Ben has taken us out for a village walk.
Up until about 2 years ago, there was a huge bomb crater right here.
So at the homestay you have like the unexploded bombs, the ordnances, and is that a problem out here?
Yeah, it's a huge problem. We do this morning walk each morning with the guests. We ask them to book it the night before to make sure either myself or one of the capable local staff can do it. Make sure they're available. And we go around the village and tell people about the village. The land out here on my right is all the rice paddy land for the village. Each family gets its own square of rice paddy land. They sow it at the end of December, beginning of January, and they harvest it in April. Then they sow a second crop. The second crop is prone to failure though because of the possible lack of water during summer, and the floods can come and take it just before it's harvested. So the people in this hamlet in particular have opted now not to grow the second crop. They're a lot more they're not as economically challenged as they used to be. So to put all that work into a crop that they could very well lose or get a very poor yield on anyway, it's become not worth it in recent years. Rice.
But just a different variety, or?
Well, it's because of the water and the flooding and that issue. So some villages in the area still do grow the second crop. That village down there does, but this village doesn't. What they do with that land now is leave it all fallow, and they turn it over to common grazing land. Now, as we go through the village, you'll see that there's these dilapidated old cow houses everywhere. While people don't keep a cow anymore for working, a lot of families do run both cattle and buffalo for the meat industry to sell for their meat. With the economic growth that's happened here, now people can afford to eat beef and can afford to eat buffalo. So people do grow them for that. There is the occasional family left around who have a working cow. They're traditionalists. They're keeping the old culture alive of using working cows and buffaloes. But most people now, well, everyone has a motorbike.
Yep.
So if you need to get something from A to B, you put it on the back of a motorbike and take it. Whereas they used to put it in a bullock wagon and drag it with the cow. The other thing is that a lot of people around the village have got machines now to do the ploughing and things. So they pay someone a bit of rice at harvest time in order to pay for the ploughing of the land or the harvesting of the machine. This little house here has been built to keep cows in. They'll keep them in here now that they're starting to plough and sow right through till the harvest. They have to feed them here. So you can see all this long grass out the back here has all been grown to feed the cows. But the staple of what they feed the cows, along with the hay stacks that they build when they harvest, is these banana tree trunks. They chop them up like coleslaw and feed it to the cow. That's why every afternoon around Vietnam, central Vietnam, you'll see people riding along with a banana tree across the back of the motorbike, causing carnage on the road. They're taking that home to feed to the cow. So you can see this bunch of bananas up here. When they harvest that bunch of bananas, then that big stem there will be ready to harvest, but it can sit there alive and wait until they're ready for it. So all these banana trees around here are not all being grown because we like bananas. They're being grown because they're a stock food. The bananas can be eaten or sold as a byproduct of growing this stock food. And then it's constantly rejuvenating because the tree grows from the bottom and it keeps putting more up. So it's a sort of renewable, yeah?
So we were talking last night, would there be a point where worldwide, not just in Vietnam, but I guess in Vietnam as well, as it's modernizing, like you're saying, people having more money, will it get to a point where people just don't want to work the land and there's nobody left to work the land? But I think you mentioned it's getting mechanized.
Well, I've seen I've been really lucky to witness here them going from subsistence farming to go through all different stages of development up to the point now where they're all starting to buy cars and they're living in brick houses and buying cars.
That's what we were noticing. That.
You know, my staff used to walk to work or ride a bicycle. Then they got motorbikes. Then they got really nice motorbikes, and now a lot of them the families are starting to buy cars.
That's awesome.
So it's been big changes, you know. This is a pepper crop here, black pepper. Mm-hmm. So they go to the jungle and they dig out the tree with the roots and they bring it back and put it in the ground. And then they plant the pepper vine against it. And then the pepper vine will be, say, 12-year cycle. But the tree will stay there alive and hold the pepper vine up. You know, so it's like a living tomato stake, if you like, holding up the pepper. Yeah. And they'll harvest the pepper in April. And then they'll sell that as a cash crop. But they sell it at a very low wholesale price. You know, so I think it's a good idea in the future that, you know, we look at things like this that we can sell for tourism and we can market as a more boutique sort of product. Over here on the right, we've got sugar cane. That's when they harvest this crop, people come every morning on motorbikes and they'll just harvest half a row at a time and they load the motorbikes and then it goes back to the cafes where they juice it and make the nyuk mia. So it might take, you know, once they start harvesting it could take a month or so, 2 months to harvest the whole crop and then it grows back again. Yeah. Oh, not that quick, no, really, about a year. Yeah.
Like a whole stick for like
yeah. Yeah, so with the development, I mean, a lot of people from this village here have gone overseas to work and they send back a stipend each month to the family back here. The families back here, you know, if they do the farming, well, then what else is there to do, really? There's not the opportunity here for the extra work and things often. So yeah, it's a difficult one, and as mechanization comes in, well, it makes it easier for them to do the farming too. But then they say, well, you know what? It's not even worth putting the second crop in anymore. You know, because we've got money coming in from overseas, and why go out and do all that work when 1 in 3 years the crop fails anyway for that second crop. You know?
Well, what we were thinking was, as their children become more educated, go overseas or back to Saigon to study, and then they're going to want to come back. And
well, what we're starting to see now is that a lot of people go away to work, and maybe they leave the grandparents here with the kids, and the grandparents with the kids, they can't do the farm work, you know, so they'll hand over their rice growing land. The teacher, she owns the local bakery and she goes to the market early in the morning and sells all the bread. The local people are handing their rice crop over to a neighbor or the man down the street or a cousin and saying, you grow the rice. But then he pays rent in rice. So then he gets bigger and bigger. One guy will get bigger and bigger and he'll buy more machines and do things so he's more effective. And he'll end up doing like a lot of different families' rice and then paying them in a bit of rice as rent. Okay. You know, that seems to be a bit of a trend. Just have a look in here. We'll go and meet my mate if he's home. Most families, no, he's not here, bugger. He was here yesterday. No, he's gone. Oh, don't know about that, but he's a working bull and he's kept here, well groomed and educated and everything.
The bull is?
Yeah, the bull. He's obviously, when people need to plough a small area to put a veggie patch or something in, they come over and see Ben, the owner, and they ask him to come and do it because, you know, that no one has a cow anymore to do that work. And maybe it's only a small patch that they need to do, but it's going to take all day with a mattock. So they're like, I'll go over and get Ben to come over with his cow and do it. Up until about 2 years ago, there was a huge bomb crater right here. They filled it all in. built this wall and that, and built the road. And they, when I first came to this village, it was all little wooden huts like this one, and there was no laneways. If you wanted to go from here to the other side of the village, you just walked in the direction you wanted to go. No fences, you know. It's really civilized now with fences and laneways and roads and things, you know.
So at the homestay you have like the unexploded bombs, the ordnances, and is that a problem out here?
Yeah, it's a huge problem.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, the whole area is littered with UXOs. It's funny, we're going around the camera today and no one's home. My old mate there's not home. The old fellow that lives in this house here behind me, this old place here, all these people all around here on top of the hill all descended from him. Because he moved here to escape the French. And he moved back from the house over on the river, and he moved back through the jungle and hid here. And then settled here, and then all these people around here all descended from. See this crop here's a ginger crop. They've planted that in timing to harvest for the Tet, for the Chinese New Year. So they'll harvest it just before Tet and turn it into candy, and then they'll sell that at the market. So that's why that's just about, it's grown that high, it's just about ready to harvest. Chan, shall we sang? Lady in this place here, she's the head of cleaning up at the Victory Road villas in town. Right. The old man on the hill here, his cousin was my wife's grandfather. So you can sort of see there's this loose connection throughout the village where you could very easily be related to someone.
We've got some company here.
The dogs live in this strange area between barking aggressively but not biting.
Yeah.
If they venture outside that, they're gone.
Yeah.
If dogs that don't bark, they don't keep. Dogs that bite people, they don't keep.
Oh,
yeah, so they keep the dogs in the middle ground. So as we come down through here, you've got avocado trees here, pineapples. You've got green tea here on the right. They've got out of season corn growing here. That broadleaf there's turmeric growing amongst the pepper. Be very careful here. If you walk where the motorbike rides, it's not slippery. If you walk out here, it's as slippery as ice.
I have no idea what is happening. Wait. No, that's not what we want. So, no, come. There's been a bit of confusion.
Donald Trump, my farm, married wife.